You are the author of your own life. Be strong, be vulnerable, be anything and everything you want to be. Come sit with us, get inspired, learn something new, and have a few laughs. We saved the spot just for you. Hola ladies, welcome to the pink table where we saved the spot just for you. In honor of having our guest here, Miss Ada, Miss Gypsy, we're going to be having a gypsy margarita. You can check out the recipe at thepinktable.tv. Let's start our show, ladies.
Cheers.
So today we're going to be talking about a very serious topic and something that has touched us all here at the pink table. We will be talking today about suicide awareness, and we're going to have our special guest here, Ada, lead us on the beginning of this topic.
So I'm very glad that we're talking about this topic, like you said, and it's something that is affecting our community. It's affecting the Latino community, the minority community, every community, and nobody's talking about it.
It's very taboo.
Yes, exactly. There's a stigma associated with it, and it's something that has affected me personally. So obviously this is something that I'm very passionate about. It means a lot to me, and I'm so happy that we're discussing this with the masses. Yeah. So when I started my blog back in 2009, a little bit before moving to New York, when I moved here, I actually met somebody, and I met my boyfriend at the time. His name was Art, and we began dating, and we were together for 2 years, and in 2012 he committed suicide. And obviously that was something that impacted my life. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And it was like the world fell on top of my head, and just everything just came crashing down. I didn't know what to do. And after this affected me personally, I started doing more research and finding more things out about this, and it was something that I was almost embarrassed to talk about with people or to share because it was so personal to me. And obviously I didn't want to let anybody in that space. It's a very vulnerable topic to even talk about, and there's a stigma associated with it.
There is a stigma behind it. I feel like a lot of people see it as something that the person does because they want to do it, and they don't see it as like a mental problem. It's something that goes on in your mind, and it's a moment of desperation, and most people don't view it that way. They kind of view it as like, oh well, they chose to do that, and it's like it could have been avoided or whatever. They don't realize the inner turmoil that causes that reaction.
Exactly, and everything that leads up to the moment when somebody does it and they succeed, or they do it and they fail. And it's really scary and alarming, but 1 in 7 Latinas actually attempt suicide, and that's really scary. Like 1 out of 7 people, that's a very big number. And I mean, it's just something that's really alarming, and nobody's talking about this, and I don't know why.
But if you educate yourself on what suicide is and what that individual goes through, you can kind of connect and see what it is. At the end of the day, it's just somebody who's suffering, and they don't see any escape from that suffering except by death. And that's so sad. You would never want anybody to get to that point where they think that the only way out of suffering in this world is to kill themselves.
Just to remove everything.
To remove themselves from this world.
Let's talk a little bit about Art and who he was as a person and what he meant to you as someone in your life.
Well, he was my first official boyfriend. I had never really had like an official boyfriend before him. And he was my first love. He meant everything to me. I learned so much about myself through him. He opened me up more to love because, I was always very kind of guarded, and like I didn't want to let anybody into that vulnerable part of my life. And he really opened me up, and he made me a better person. And not even that, he helped me a lot when I first moved here, because there was so many days where I wanted to give up and I wanted to just pack everything and move back to Florida. I couldn't find a job for 4 months. It was really hard, and he was just always there.
He was your rock.
Yeah, exactly. He was very supportive. When I doubted myself, he was like, no, you can do this. And it's always nice to have somebody there to give you the support. And I felt very lucky because I know not a lot of people have ever experienced love, and most definitely they probably don't have anybody that's so supportive of them. So he was everything to me. And everything. And even meeting him, I gained a family because, you know, when I moved to New York, only my older brother lived here, and that's all who I had. But meeting him, you know, I gained a grandmother, I gained a mother, I gained a sister, I gained an entire new family that I love, and till this day they will forever be my family, and they're a big part of my life.
A lot of emotional support you got from him and his family.
Exactly.
So then when the whole situation happened, like, how did you feel? Was there a feeling of guilt? Did you feel guilty about something?
Of
what
course.
was going through you
Of
emotionally?
course, because you feel like I should have done this, or why didn't I notice this, or you feel like you didn't do enough, you know. And it took a long time for me to deal with that guilt and surpass that guilt, because I feel like it's something that's always gonna stay with you. Like I could have done more, I didn't know, and it's really hard, you know. And it's like I feel like suicide is like a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah,
but
that's
then
a good one.
yeah, again, like you don't know what that person's going through, but you do feel guilty because you feel like you could have done more, you should have done more, especially as a partner. I could have done more, you know. So that's something really hard to deal with.
I mean, I had my personal experience with suicide. I had a very, very close friend of mine who's like a piece of my heart in my life attempt suicide. It didn't work, thank God, but you know, just getting the call that they're in the hospital and that they're almost gone, and it's just, at that moment when I heard the news, I took it very selfishly, and I got very angry, and I felt very like betrayed. Like that was my thing. Like to me it was like a total betrayal. Like, how could you do this to me?
Yeah.
You know, like that's how
It's about me.
Yeah, it was. I made it about me because it was like, I am here for you. Like, I love you and I need you, and you were just gonna leave me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I just felt really, really betrayed.
Yeah, and it's hard. Everybody deals with it differently. Some people feel betrayal. Some people feel angry at this person. Like, how could you even do this?
Did you feel angry at all?
Oh, yeah. I felt like I went through... I mean, there's like 5 stages of grief and death, and I feel like I went through them all. You go through the depression yourself, you go through the guilt, you go through the anger, you go through the betrayal, and it's just something very hard to deal with. And you know, when it hits so close to home, and then you start to find out that in your community, you know, like Latinas, for example, have the highest suicide rate amongst any other nationality.
Wow.
That's scary.
Yeah, and that we're not talking about it. That it's not being brought out into the open and discussed as people.
Yes, and it's really scary. And then because like our community and the Hispanic community has such a stigma around it, it's like, are these people ever gonna get help? Like, they're suffering in silence, not knowing that there's help out there and to make their lives better, to live a better life, and people just don't know, and it's really sad.
Yeah, like, you're not so alone out there. There are people that are willing to listen to you and that love you, and we're using this platform as kind of like letting all of you know that you're not alone in the suffering, you know?
Yes, everybody suffers, and things will get better. If you believe that and you live by that, things will get better. Ada was saying that she felt guilty and that Art was her rock and she loved him. I'm pretty sure that individuals that are suicidal or are thinking about suicide feel like nobody loves them. But you don't know how much you're worth to somebody in your life,
right,
to your parents, to your siblings, to your significant other. You are a gem and you are a treasure. Don't remove yourself from their lives because you are important. Even if you personally don't feel that way, to them, you are something very special.
Yes, and, you know, it's... After all of this happened, you know, I thought of... You know, I was very reluctant to share my experience on the blog because it was very personal. And even when Art passed away, I took some time off from the blog because I just...
Shut it down for a little bit?
Yeah, I needed that time for me.
To regroup.
And, you know, so I wrote like a post that he had passed away. I didn't write why. And I just said that I was going to take some time off and that eventually I would be back. And so the outpour of love that I received from people all over the internet that I didn't even know literally had me in tears every time somebody would write a comment, because it would be like people that I never comment on your blog, but I'm always on it, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm so sorry for your loss and I'm praying for you. And they didn't even know the details, but the fact that I had so much love from people I didn't know, that really meant everything to me. And my blog was a huge inspiration for me, that helped me a lot deal with my depression that I went through after he passed. And it was kind of like the thing that kept me going, and I knew that people wanted to see me come back and kind of recover from this, and it was really a beautiful thing. But you know, after now I'm more reluctant to talk about it because I know how it affects our community. And it's just sad because, you know, as Latinas, like the majority of them that are suicidal, it's because of the clashes of culture, and they're first generation immigrants. And, you know, I'm sure you guys can relate to this because I think we're all first generation.
Yeah, like people don't realize how hard it is to transition from, you know, one culture to another, to sort of assimilate to a new culture and try to adapt, try to still be yourself and keep your morals and your values of your background, and then at the same time become your own person. It's really hard I know I came to the United States when I was 8. I didn't know the language. I didn't know anybody. It was very, very hard for me to sort of, you know, be able to be around.
Exactly. So. And then not only that, like your parents have one expectation of you,
right,
but then you have your own hopes and dreams, especially you're in this country where so many things, you can achieve really anything that you put your mind to.
Everything is possible.
Exactly. But then your parents have this expectation of you, and you almost feel guilty for wanting to follow your dreams and chase the things that you're passionate about.
For being different.
Yeah, you don't want to let your parents down. You don't want to let your family down.
Yeah.
I was going to touch up on that. Like, you come from this set of values, norms, and morals. And then you're thrown into this new set of values, norms, and morals. And it's like you have to infuse these together in a way that makes sense to you, but you know will never make sense to your parents.
Yeah.
And you have this clash. Like, mom and dad they're not going to understand that this is what I want to do. They're not going to understand that I want to step outside of the box. But my heart wants to do this. So I feel like that's where most people have that problem. They don't know how to infuse both cultures in a way where they can make themselves happy and not feel guilty.
Exactly. And then as Hispanics, like everything to us is family. Familia, siempre, you know.
Familia pa siempre.
Yes, forever. You know? So it's like, you're so, like, and especially, I mean, things are changing now, but I know a lot of families are still like, the man is the one that goes out there and is the money, the bread maker, and, you know,
the hunter.
Exactly. And then the woman is the one that stays home. So even when you get older, like the if you have brothers, like they're supposed to go out into the world, but if you're the woman in your family, you're kind of supposed to stay back and help the family still.
Right.
And it's like, but what about my hopes and dreams? What about the things that I want to accomplish? Like, if my brother's doing it, why can I do it? So I could imagine the pressure from your family, and then you wanting to be successful on your own. That's really scary. And then nobody understands you. You don't have anybody to talk about it to. So I could see where people, you know,
They
that
feel hopeless.
Yes, that's
lonely. It's
exactly.
a very lonely feeling.
And it turns into frustration, which leads into depression, and then you feel like you're never gonna be able to change that. So you don't have any other way out of this.
You feel stuck.
Exactly.
I just want to talk a little bit about the signs of someone who is suicidal. Basically is if somebody is constantly talking about suicide or throwing phrases out there like, oh, you're gonna wish you didn't do that when I'm gone, things like that, that should be a sign. When they get an obsession about death, if they're artistic or poetic, or they rap, they have like a fixation on death and morbidity and mortality and things like that. Also, if they feel like they have nothing to look forward to, they fall into a deep state of depression, or they start taking necessary means to set up life in this world when they're gone, like doing a will, giving away personal things that are close to them, or even saying goodbye to people close to them. Also, if they start getting an interest in weapons like knives or pills or guns, anything that can kind of help you in the process of committing suicide. So be aware, if you see anybody that you think is suicidal, what you should do is go to them personally, share your concern that you care about them and you love them, and that you just want to ask them if they're having thoughts of suicide. That's the best way to approach them personally first.
Yes, and don't try to fix anything, because again, you're probably not experienced with that, so you're probably not even going to know what to say to this person, and you're gonna want to make things better, but maybe you might make things worse. So the best thing that you can honestly do is just listen to them. Yes. And like you said, be concerned about them. They're your friend, they're your loved one. You want to make sure that they're okay, and don't promise them anything. If they ask you, please don't tell anybody. It is your duty to tell somebody to try to help this person, because you don't want them to go through with these suicidal thoughts. So don't promise them anything, because at the end of the day, you really can't keep that promise if you really care about this person and you want the best for them.
Yeah, touching up on that, when you are listening to someone who does open up to you about their suicidal thoughts or their hopelessness or their suffering, just be compassionate, open your heart, and just listen to them. Don't try to change their mind. Don't tell them suicide is a sin and they're gonna go to hell. Don't say any of that. Just be
crazy.
Or you're crazy. Just listen to them. Let them grieve. Let them let it go. Let it all out and free themselves from the burden of keeping it inside. You're there to listen and to be a support. Also, be a support to them. Be consistent in their life. Don't tell them, oh, I'll be here for you. Call me if you need anything. Be proactive. Pick up the phone. Call them consistently, invite them out, show up to their place every once in a while. Actions speak louder than words, so be there for them. Be supportive throughout their whole process.
And there's so many amazing resources within our own community that you can seek to help this person or anybody that you know that is going through depression or has suicidal thoughts. So make sure that you go online and just look at what's out there. We will provide links in the bottom description bar so that you guys can have a resource for if you need or in need of them. And also, even on social media, we're a generation that is all about being social online, and even online there's help. So if you see on Twitter or on Facebook or any of those, even YouTube, that somebody's posting things that sound suicidal or they have suicidal thoughts and they're posting it on social media, you can actually go on these platforms and report them, and and not report them in a bad way, but the actual platform will send them a direct message that includes information on how they can get help and seek help. And I think that's something very important that not a lot of people know about.
And that's a powerful tool, because everything now revolves around social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff. Like, that's the best way to reach somebody right away. They're always on their social media, so they will get that message. Report them.
So what were ways that you used for yourself to sort of move forward after this situation?
Well, like I said, it was really hard, and something that it just changed my life so dramatically. And there were bad days that I didn't want to get out of bed, and people that know me know that I'm such a positive person, so to see me like in that state, I'm sure that it was very hard. But it was little by little I just started kind of just to want to be myself again. And I felt like I have so much to live for, and I have so many things to do. And one of the main things, like I said, was my blog, and also the support from my friends and family through this difficult time, and even the blog community online. And like I said, now one of my main purposes with my blog is to use it as a vehicle to touch on this subject and really educate people about this, because like I said, it's something that nobody's talking about. It's such a taboo in our community, and this is a really passion project of mine. So in the future, I hope to really be able to help our community and see changes, because this is something that there's no cure for this. There's the only cure that there really is if you seek help, if you get help. And I feel like I need to use my story to help others and break the cycle.
Awareness
exactly. So if I can be of inspiration to anybody, if you're watching this and you're going through rough times, know that things will get better, that you are a gem, that you are loved, and please just anything that you can hold on to get through one more day, do it because we need you here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every life is worth living. Every single life is worth living. You're all valuable. Every individual soul. There's only one of you in this world. Stay in this world. We need you.
And you can go to gypsyandthecity.com. I know you always post stuff on websites and awareness and walks and things that you can sort of join her on and follow her. You can go to the pinktable.tv. We're going to post up also a couple of websites where you guys can check out. And I think this is a really great topic, and it's something that we did need to talk about and bring onto the open and not make it so taboo. So if you are feeling that way and you are feeling like you just don't want to be here anymore, you know, there are places that you can go for help, and there are people that are willing to talk about it with you. Even on her blog, if you want to comment to her,
send me an email.
Yeah,
whatever. I'm here for you guys. I'm here. I'm very big on my blog about being authentic, and I'm here for you. So if you ever send me an email, a tweet, whatever, just I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I will do my best to help you as much as I can.
Right.
So definitely, like she said, check out gypsyandthecity.com and participate in whatever you can. Out of the Darkness is a great program. They have walks into all over the United States that you can participate in, and it's just a great organization. So definitely check them out.
Yeah, and I guess I just want everybody to know out there you're not so alone. And I want to end it off sort of with a very positive quote, because it is a very serious topic.
Yes.
And it is a little heavy, but, you know, we're bringing awareness to something that needs to be brought out into the light, you know. And I want to end it off with a little quote for you guys. And let's see, in life's darkest moments, look within yourself and see the light of truth. You are loved, you are valuable, and there is only one like you. And this world, this universe needs someone just like you. And we love you, Besos.